The Second World War had ended. A great sigh of relief swept across America. Millions of soldiers, sailors, and airmen began their journey home. They carried with them memories of conflict, but also dreams for the future. They were young, hopeful, and ready to build a new life. The nation they returned to was one of victorious spirit. It was a country that had mobilized its full strength for war. Now that strength could be turned towards peace. The world had changed forever, and America was at the forefront of this new era. Unlike much of Europe and Asia, American soil remained largely untouched by the devastation of war. Its factories, its farms, its cities stood strong and ready. During the long years of conflict, ordinary citizens had made sacrifices. They had endured rationing of everyday goods. They had saved their money, unable to buy new cars or homes. Now there was a great pent-up demand. People were eager to spend, to build, to enjoy the fruits of peace and prosperity. This desire would become a powerful force in the years to come. A powerful sense of optimism filled the air. The nation had faced immense challenges and had overcome them. There was a belief that anything was possible. This was the American spirit, renewed and invigorated. Families looked forward to normalcy, to raising children in a world without the constant shadow of war. They yearned for stability, for a home of their own, for good schools, and for secure jobs. This collective aspiration for a better life became the bedrock of the post-war boom, a period of growth unlike any seen before. The United States found itself in a unique position on the global stage. It was an economic powerhouse, its industrial capacity unmatched. It held a significant portion of the world's gold reserves. It was a creditor nation, ready to help rebuild a shattered world. This economic dominance, combined with the energy of its people, set the stage for an extraordinary period. The American century was truly dawning, and the economic landscape was about to be reshaped in profound and lasting ways, touching every corner of society. The federal government played a crucial role in this economic expansion. Visionary policies helped to smooth the transition from war to peace. The Servicemen's Readjustment Act of 1944, famously known as the GI Bill, was a landmark piece of legislation. It provided returning veterans with funds for college education and vocational training. It also offered low-interest mortgages for buying homes and starting businesses. Millions seized these opportunities. This investment in human capital and home ownership became a powerful engine for economic activity, lifting countless families into the middle class. Technological innovation, much of it spurred by wartime research, was another key driver. Developments in fields like aviation, electronics, and medicine found new peacetime applications. Plastics, synthetic materials, and new manufacturing processes revolutionized industries. The war had accelerated the pace of discovery. Now, these advancements were channeled into creating consumer goods. Washing machines, refrigerators, and televisions became symbols of the new prosperity. This wave of innovation created new jobs, new industries, and new ways of living for the American people, making life easier and more comfortable. The rise of a vibrant and expanding middle class was central to the boom. Wages increased steadily for many American workers. Strong labor unions bargained for better pay and benefits. With more disposable income, families could afford to buy the new products flooding the market. Access to consumer credit also expanded, allowing more people to make large purchases. This robust consumer demand fueled production, which in turn created more jobs and higher wages. It was a virtuous cycle of growth that lifted the standard of living for millions. America's manufacturing sector was the envy of the world. Factories that had churned out tanks and planes now produced automobiles, appliances, and a vast array of consumer goods. The Made in America label signified quality and innovation. The automobile industry in particular boomed as more families could afford a car. This not only created jobs in manufacturing but also spurred growth in related industries like steel, rubber, and oil. The nation was on the move, quite literally, and its industrial might was the engine powering this remarkable journey forward. Massive infrastructure projects transformed the American landscape and fueled economic activity. The most ambitious of these was the Federal Aid Highway Act of 1956. This act authorized the construction of the interstate highway system. 41,000 miles of new roads would connect cities and towns across the continent. This monumental undertaking created countless construction jobs. It also facilitated the movement of goods and people like never before. The new highways made long-distance travel faster and cheaper, boosting tourism and commerce in ways previously unimaginable. The dream of owning a home became a reality for millions, leading to the explosive growth of suburbs. Developers like William Levitt pioneered mass production techniques for building houses. Places like Levittown, New York, offered affordable single-family homes to returning veterans and their young families. This suburban exodus was made possible by the widespread adoption of the automobile and the new highway system. Families sought more space, safer neighborhoods, and good schools. The suburban lifestyle, with its lawns and driveways, came to define the American dream for a generation, changing settlement patterns profoundly. Education also experienced a significant boom. The GI Bill opened the doors of colleges and universities to an unprecedented number of students. Higher education was no longer solely for the elite. It became a pathway to upward mobility for millions. Universities expanded and new community colleges emerged to meet the demand. There was a strong emphasis on science, mathematics, and engineering, partly driven by Cold War competition. This investment in education created a more skilled workforce capable of driving innovation and adapting to a rapidly changing economy, ensuring future prosperity. Consumerism became a defining feature of the era. Television, a novelty before the war, rapidly entered American homes. By the mid-1950s, a majority of households owned a TV set. Advertising flourished, showcasing an enticing array of new products designed to make life more convenient and enjoyable. From shiny new cars to time-saving kitchen appliances, Americans embraced the culture of consumption. Shopping centers and department stores became new hubs of community life. This vibrant consumer culture was both a result and a driver of the ongoing economic prosperity. The post-war prosperity brought about profound societal changes. The most notable was the baby boom. With the war over and the economy strong, couples felt confident about starting and expanding their families. This demographic surge had long-lasting effects on American society, from school enrollment to the workforce and eventually, Social Security. Traditional family structures were reinforced, with a strong emphasis on the nuclear family. Television played an increasingly influential role in shaping popular culture, transmitting shared experiences and values into millions of homes across the nation. The era witnessed remarkable achievements in raising the overall standard of living. More Americans than ever before enjoyed comforts and conveniences previously unimaginable. Access to healthcare improved, and life expectancy increased. The middle class swelled and poverty rates declined, though not for everyone. This era of abundance created a sense of national pride and confidence. America saw itself as a land of opportunity, a beacon of freedom and prosperity in a world still recovering from war and grappling with new ideological conflicts. The nation's economic might was undeniable. The golden age of American capitalism left an indelible mark. It established the United States as the world's preeminent economic and military superpower. The patterns of suburban living, car-dependent culture, and mass consumerism established during this period continue to shape American life today. The infrastructure built, particularly the interstate highway system, remains a vital part of the nation's economic backbone. The emphasis on higher education also created a legacy of innovation and skilled labor that would benefit the country for decades to come, fueling further advancements. However, this era of unprecedented growth was not without its shadows and eventual challenges. Deep-seated racial and gender inequalities persisted, with many minority groups and women largely excluded from the full benefits of prosperity. The civil rights movement gained momentum during this period, challenging segregation and discrimination. Environmental concerns began to emerge as the scale of industrial activity and suburban sprawl became apparent. Eventually, the economic conditions that fueled the boom would shift, leading to new challenges like inflation, foreign competition, and deindustrialization in the decades that followed.